Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, welcome everybody. Yeah, all right. National Signing Day has begun. Arkansas, let's get these microphone settings adjusted here. Arkansas, I don't know. You guys, we're gonna talk about these new additions today. Didn't get everyone today. We're gonna talk about it. Also, shout out to the Odd Soul. You see that logo down there in the bottom right? They are the newest sponsor to the Tuss Talk with Ty show. So shout out to them, huh? Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo! What's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans? Hey, yeah. Shout out to Patreon supporters, all you guys that are here live. Also, we have, again, I have to apologize. The last live show we did, really quick, like, share, subscribe, check out all the links provided for you down below. The last live show we did, on this opening screen, I messed up. But if you see there, the highlighted names are for people who are $8 plus supporters on Patreon. This all, including the sponsors, helps this show out big time. Now, a lot of you are already aware, but for those of you who are not, might be 20% of you who weren't in Discord who heard this news, starting January 1st, I am going back solo. I will be leaving Hogville. Really fast on that. This is not nothing to do with some idiot on Twitter who, well, I mean, if you know on that situation. It's so stupid. It has nothing to do with that. This was a decision that I kind of came to, ironically, on the cruise coming back from Mexico a little while back. Had a good conversation with somebody, actually, ironically, at a bar on the cruise. He brought up some good things. You started an LLC. Why'd you abandon it? That's a good point, sir. Might be the rum talking. But no, I'd already kind of been considering it, even leading up to that, going back solo, being able to just put all my content in one spot. So that's why we're bringing on another sponsor, and I'm telling you guys, that's why I'm trying to grow the hell out of Patreon. Like, you guys really are going to be keeping this thing afloat, for real. Like, for real. No more Hogville checks. So, yeah, no more. After my last show with Hogville will be the post-game show after the Liberty Bowl. That'll be my final bit of Hogville content. At least for now. There's always the door is open for me to return to Hogville. Talking with the site owner and everything. But so I'm excited to go back independent. I'm going to miss some things. There's going to be some stuff that I'm not going to have access to anymore, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, man, it's so nice to just be here, do what I want to do here, do what I need to do here, and just put all the effort back into Tuss Talk. So, yeah, man. We got the name change last year. That happened, and it was big. Or last year, sorry. This in 2022. I've been wanting to do that for so long. Hogville kind of, because of the affiliation with Pig Trail Nation, said, hey, we might need to look at that name. And I'd already been thinking about names, so that worked out perfectly. I love the name. I love the community that we've grown. And we also brought a few people over from Hogville, some Hogville posters. We've brought them over, so a special welcome to them. All right, got to do what you got to do. Well, I mean, yeah, it's more to do about just having this show. I've already built something here, man. I mean, we're at 900,000 views, and for a channel that only talks, that doesn't do highlight content, and again, that's not easy content to make either. Ask War Machine. That's very difficult content to make. But to do this, to not have a big-time platform behind me like 247 or Rivals, to not have a massive following on Twitter, on the socials, to be able to build this thing from the ground up, man, it's been absolutely astonishing. Why would I get this far and then just start to split time elsewhere? So, yeah. All right. Woo Pig Suey, what's guys Ty? How's it going? I think some of you have already hit the sauce. Are some of you that depressed already? What's going on, Mario? I didn't get that. Woo Pig Suey, what's going on, Ty? Maybe that's what he meant to say. Yeah. I don't care if they recruit entire Dallas Cowboys. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid this time, boys. This is Bob Magnet. Oh, boy. Yeah, some of you have already not real thrilled. So we do have some updates here. Boys, it's looking like we will be contenders next year. Scott, I love you, man, but I want to know, tell me why you think this. What, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know. What are you seeing what are you thinking? What are you seeing that I'm not? Because I don't know what you mean by contenders. We have, I'm going to say this, on either side of the aisle, whether you're hardcore, like this isn't working, Arkansas's a dumpster fire, or if you're on the other side where you're just like, oh no, this is it. This defensive coordinator hire, who, by the way, we haven't discussed yet here. I wanted to talk a little bit about him as well. I didn't put him in the title, and he's on the thumbnail, but I did want to talk about this new defensive coordinator hire for just a second too. But either side of the aisle, whatever side you're on, pump the brakes. Guys, it's early. Like, you didn't add – think about it. You didn't add two huge pieces to this roster until – March, right? Till when did Matt Landers sign, or when did he come over? What was it, like late March? Jordan Dominic came over in early March, was it? I mean, we got a long ways to go. The portal is where it's at now. It is having a huge negative impact on high school recruiting, unfortunately. So, horns down all the way, says Kopetsky. All right, I agree with that, sir. Oh, we got a super chat. Hang on. Woo! $20 super chat. Will Watkins, get these super chats and support. Ty, I appreciate that. Will, you're a staple in this community, sir, and I mean that. Appreciate your activity in Discord too. Plenty of takes in Discord, and I like it. We got our quarterback for the future officially signed. Says Ash. Yeah, the emotions in this chat are so bipolar. Yeah, they're kind of all over the place. And I get it. You know, you're losing out on a couple commits. Looks like maybe two guys are waiting to sign till February, and I'm going to tell you that typically is not good for Arkansas. Last year it was Miles Rouser. Of course, that was an off the field issue. Otis Kirk told us all about that. How Miles Rouser's issue was completely off the field stuff. He's a great player. If he can keep his head on straight and do what he needs to do, that's someone who I can remember the rhetoric around him being, this guy's going to play on Sundays. And you don't say that very often for Razorback high school commits. You just don't. I mean, let's be real. You know, what, 10%, 15%? Sometimes maybe you feel like, okay, they're gonna at least from a knowing standpoint, like, yeah, no, that guy's going to play on Sundays. Not very often on a given class. Ty, are there any transfers coming at wide receiver? Josh Myers wants to know. We're going to get on that as well. We got to do these real quick sponsor reads. Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, the first sponsor of this show. If you guys need garage door work, you need to hit these guys up. They offer same-day services, emergency service, 24/7, 365 days a year, free estimates, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Give them a call today, 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, Garage Door Company. Apex Tattoo Studio, located in Rogers, 615 West Oak Street in Rogers, 72756, 479-278-2694 to get hooked up, to get some ink done. And, of course, our newest sponsor. I told them, this starts in January. No, man, they're a part of this now. It's on. Nick knows. Nick's my boy, the owner of the Oddsole, who also got me hooked up with getting the opportunity to do the Oddsole on-site, on-location live stream with the co-founder of Black Apple. Huh? Who doesn't like some black apple hard cider? If you don't, you probably just don't like apple cider. Whoop, that was my phone. Sorry about that. That might have been a little loud. My bad. But that was really cool, getting a chance to meet him. But shout out to the Odd Soul. And we did talk a little bit about this defense coordinator last time we were live. I'm not going to lie to you. That whole thing was so fun, and I was just so distracted by what was going on there inside that. It was just a fun environment being inside the Odd Soul. That was cool, sitting next to the co-founder of one of my favorite beverages. I am a huge fan of Black Apple. That was really cool. Nick knew that. We talked a little bit. Nick knew that, and he was like, oh, I'm going to bring on Leo. It's happening. So, Odd Soul, craft bar and pizzeria, man, if they have all kinds of, you talk about the local beverages, they cater to the local breweries. If they don't have it on tap, they can get it on tap. And then the other side of it, their pizzeria, oh my God. Listen, I think I can speak on behalf of some fat people. I'm fat, and I think one of the reasons why I'm fat is because I absolutely love food. And they've got great pies, and I think I'm a worthy critic. Their pie, and anyone who knows me knows I'm a big fan of the Odd Soul pies. Their pizza is fantastic. So if you're located up here in NWA, you really need to go by the Odd Soul. Get you a Black Apple, whatever they have on tap, or whatever else they have, of course, and then and grab you a pizza, grab you a pie. I'm a big fan of their pies. Really good stuff. All right, yeah. Scrolling up here. Scrolling up. Yeah, I don't know much about Crawford. I don't know what's going on with Dakotas Crawford. Last I had heard, Arkansas was definitely on his radar. I don't have an update on him at the moment. They have a Black Apple cider at the store here. Yeah, they have Black Apple all over. You go inside a Walmart, pretty sure they're in every Walmart in a 3-state area. Let's talk about this class. Let's get into really quick. Well, hold on. Before we get into the recruiting class, sorry, my notes are all over the place here. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit for just a second about this defensive coordinator hire. Now, we did touch on him, on Travis Williams, a little bit on the show. We talked about him a little bit, and something I wanted to reiterate or wanted to go over again, which was why I think Sam has brought him in, and something that you understand when Sam was hired on, he brought Barry Odom over. This is a guy who was a well-known defensive coordinator, whether it be at Memphis or Mizzou, whatever, was developing players and was taking over rosters and helping build the defensive side of the ball, and then put a pretty good product on the field no matter where he was at, as long as he had something to do with the defense, whether it was Memphis or wherever else. And then he was a head coach, and of course that didn't work out real well. Sam Pittman, the timing was just perfect. Sam Pittman hires him, brings him on. And one of the reasons that Sam brought Barry Odom on was like, look, this is a guy that's been there. This is a guy that has coached at this level and has had certain levels of success, depending on how you measure success. But one of the most important facts being is that he is a former head coach in this conference. And that meant a great deal to Sam Pittman. Odom helped him kind of direct and navigate the circles of being a head coach. And I would even go as far as to argue he helped we saw the difference between 2020 and 2017, 18, and 19, the product on the field. You saw a difference. Yeah, they only won 3 games, but should have won Auburn. Auburn wasn't great that year, but that would have been a nice win under his belt for sure, year one. But turned the thing around. Turned, the product on the field. I can remember watching them and going, wait, damn, this team could have won 5 games on a 10-game conference-only schedule in 2020. What the hell? We got an actual good product on the field. I think Barry Odom played a role in that. Now, was he the right hire at the time? And again, I talked about this when I was at the Odd Soul when we did the on location at Odd Soul. Something I did touch on. I want to talk about it again really quick. I think the hires, had the timing been right, should have been reversed, right? You need someone who he's young, he's hungry. You guys have seen his interviews. Players love this dude. This might be Houston Dale Nutt levels of love for their coordinator, for their coach. Talking about the guys on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, he kind of does it all. He's got a great, like you hear him talk behind the microphone. I want to go play football for the guy. I can't say that about Barry Odom. That's nothing against Barry Odom, but I've been in the same room with Barry Odom. Good guy. I'd crack open a beer and love to just chat about some dirt that he might have on some other SEC assistants or something, or some other coaches. I think that'd be fun. But as far as playing for somebody, I think I'd play for Travis Williams. And he's a player's coach. So what does that mean? Typically, those guys, I think you can, again, there's an interesting Houston Nutt comparison there, can go out and recruit and find studs. And I think that's, again, I know that's not fair. That's apples and oranges. We don't know for sure. Travis was only at UCF for 2 years. It's not fair to compare the two. Houston was, much older when he took over as the head coach at Arkansas. What was he, like 40? How old was Houston when he took over? 44? 45? But I think when you talk about the personalities and something that could come attached with that personality and something he's known for, he's known to be a pretty solid recruiter. He had 2 4-star commits this class. The Twins, I will tell you, doesn't look like they're coming to Arkansas. It looks like they're going to go to Maryland. Oh, damn it. Boy, did that one fire back in our faces. I really wanted to. I did want the Maryland DC for that very reason. This cat can recruit, and now he's going to grab 2 more 4-stars for that defense for Maryland. I think that was the last time. That was 2 days ago, I think, is when I heard that. I don't know if anything's changed on the Twins, the kids that were committed to UCF. But that's kind of, they also brought a 5-star transfer over, a kid that signed with Maryland and ended up transferring to UCF. Now, I don't know how much Travis played a role in that. I mean, you know how that works. Sometimes an assistant plays a larger role of the head coach, but regardless, he's had talent. So going back to the Barry Odom and Travis Williams kind of swap, you feel like the better hire might have been to grab someone. I'm not saying obviously Travis Williams would have been way further behind in his career as an assistant or coach, but to grab someone who's a recruiter sooner. Grab someone who can help build that defense and build a foundation, because let's be real, Arkansas's had what? How many legit good defenses since being in the SEC? You could probably count on maybe one hand how many times they've had legit top 4 total defense, TFL, sacks. Of course, they did really well in that department this year. Takeaways, like solid defensive years. What year was that under Rob Smith when they were like a top 10 defense nationally, top 12? I think that was 2014. You feel like the role should have maybe been reversed. You had the guy, the young, up-and-coming, hungry, recruits well. He's a player's coach. He's able to build on top layer by layer by layer, and then the guy like Barry Odom comes in. Then I don't know that John Chavis is a fair like would he come in and have success after 2 or 3 years after someone like Travis Williams? I don't think so. I kind of think he was at the tail end of his career, but there's one thing that they all have in common. Barry Odom is one of the biggest names in defense. When you talk about defensive coordinators, the same could be said of John Chavis. The same could be said of there are several. Rob Smith is one I think you, for a little while, could throw into that category of being at least somewhat proven defensive coordinators. Willie Robinson, I remember when he was hired under Petrino, like, oh, man, this guy's done this and this and this, and he's a veteran, and his defenses were terrible. And some of that, it goes back, the common denominator is what? Lack of talent. How much first or second round talent has Arkansas produced on the defensive side of the ball over the years? Yeah, you can talk about guys that have proven and done pretty well in the league that weren't maybe drafted as high, who still hang around the league. You could talk about Trey Flowers, Dietrich Wise. My God, Dre Greenlaw's been an absolute stud. He picked off Tom Brady, the great one, and had him sign the ball after the game. That was fascinating. So, having all or saying all that to say, now, and it's unfair, this is not his recruiting class, but now it's from here on out, we're going to start looking at these transfers, and we're going to look at the defensive side of the ball. Right now, how many transfers do they have that are on the defensive side of the ball? You have one, and that was the portal surprise today. This young man out of Pittsburgh who had 3 sacks last year. My God, where is the signing class? There it is. John Morgan out of Pitt. This is a guy, 3 sacks. I don't know his TFL numbers. ESPN doesn't give those. I don't know why. They'll give you sacks. They won't give you TFLs. But I don't think my wife knows I'm live. She's like right outside the door screaming. But you've got one defensive lineman that's out of this portal. And from here on out, it's like, okay, what you do in the portal is going to be looked at as a reflection of you, the defensive coordinator. And I don't even know if that's fair. But here we are. All right, I spent a lot of time away from the screen. Let me get caught up. 2014, yeah, it was 2014. Rob Smith killed it. T-Dub with a $2 super chat. Breaking news in the next super chat. Oh, uh-oh. What do we got? Let me know. Yeah, she's off work today, and I don't think she realizes I'm live. I did go live without telling her. I'm curious what this breaking news is. I can confirm that Ty Hudson has accepted the job as the new line coach with the Razorbacks. Congrats, Ty, on the new sponsor. Merry Christmas. Y'all hit the like button, you filthy animals. Oh, I love that reference. Little Home Alone. Love that reference. T-Dub. Thank you, man. Did I say Will? I'm sorry. I was reading Will's comment. Mr. T-Dub. There you go. There's the breaking news on the super chat. I appreciate that, guys. I really do. Thank you so much. T-Dub, long-time viewer. Let's see what else we got. Still crazy that Barry Odom hired Bobby Petrino. That was true, correct? I didn't misread that. No, yeah. He's there. He's the guy. Bobby Petrino is the OC. And I'm thinking, like, what's next? Who's he going to hire at defensive coordinator? Is he going to hire Willie Robinson, defensive coordinator? No, I feel like I know who he's going to bring in. Let's get into the class, you guys. I did not – hang on. Let me get this loaded up here. I forgot to add this. Where is it? Image. We're going to call it NSD. Image. Let's see if it'll let me do it here. Documents, Test Talk, the list of names. Here we go. I thought I would throw this together for you guys. Did it pop up on the screen? Here's the list of names. There we go. There's the list of names. All right, I threw this thing together really quick. Is that showing up for you guys? Yeah. I had fun with it. I love that font too, by the way. I might just change all my font into that. It's supposed to be like a Mario Brothers kind of font. Let's talk about these names. Let's talk about some of these cats. Let's talk about the guys that they missed. Where do I want to put this? Do we want to block off my head here, my fat head? Or, well, we can't really. There's nowhere for me to put it. Woo! Hello! You know what? We'll just do this. How about this? Clap! I had it. All right, Malachi Singleton. Without a doubt, is a big get for Arkansas. You want to talk about something they're doing right in the quarterback room. It's bringing Jacoby Criswell in from North Carolina. I love that. I can't tell you guys how much I love that. That is incredible. Bringing Jacoby Criswell back home, signing him. Now you feel like, oh, okay, there's an upgrade. And then you're bringing in a guy that is craft made for this offense. Malachi is made and built for this offense. Talking to people in the know, they feel like he's a little bit ahead of where KJ was at that age, coming in as a quarterback. A little bit smaller, right? He's a 6'1", what is he, like 220 pounds or something. Malachi, I don't know about arm strength. It's always difficult to gauge arm strength at that grade unless you just kind of look at what they've done at certain camps. Malachi Singleton is a fantastic get for the Hogs. That was huge. There were some rumors, UCF was all over him. Gus Malzahn wanted him big time, just kind of drooling over the idea of that kid coming to UCF. To grab Malachi Singleton out of the clutches of that part of the world, out of Kennesaw, Georgia, when he had committable offers on the table, for Kendall to go out and get him is a big-time get. Now, the next guy on that list, we got Super Chat. Do you know of any potential flips or surprise commits to Arkansas today? I already talked about one. We already talked about John Morgan, who had, again, 3 sacks. I think he maybe 20 tackles on the air. Could be wrong on that. Again, I don't have his TFL numbers. John Morgan is the surprise flip today, as far as I know. I have heard some names that were thrown out. Gavin Holmes, the corner out of Wake Forest, or defensive back, 5'11", 170 pounds, I think, out of Wake. I think he's on a UT visit. Don't expect him to flip right now. I don't remember the other. There was 2 other names. I cannot remember off the top of my head. Terser says Ty. He's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. I appreciate that. Thank you. But right now, as of right now, Aaron, I don't know of any surprise flips happening today. But keep in mind, with the portal and with early signing period, like you've got a little bit of time here, and of course with the portal, you've got a lot of time. We've got a long ways to go as far as the transfer portal is concerned. I really wish I could throw these. This is the downside of doing this on OBS and not on StreamYard. I can't just post your super chat on the screen, but I do appreciate the super chats, guys. Aaron, Will, and Mr. T-Dub, Tim. I do appreciate you guys. Moving on. Another big get out of the portal. Let's throw up the NSD. Isaiah Augustave, because I think it just sounds so cool. I think Augustave just sounds so cool. I don't know how he actually pronounces that name. That is another huge get. Big time get. Isaiah, very talented running back. You know, not exactly I mean, this isn't, I don't know. Would it be fair? Like, Alex Collins was a big get out of the state of Florida. Is it fair to say it's in that realm? I don't think it's far behind. I don't think that that he is a level of player that is really far behind. Again, 6'2". He's a little bit taller than Collins was, right? Collins was, what was he, 5'10", what was his size out of high school? I do not remember. 205 maybe? Isaiah is 6'2", 195 pounds. Again, that's according to, I think Otis Kirk has confirmed that from Hogville, and 247 has as well. So another good get. I like him a lot. I like Isaiah a lot. That's a really good get. DB ranked nationally 75, 61, 33, 43, and 8. Okay. Ty, are you coming to Memphis? No, I am not going to Memphis. I'm going to do the post game here. Just simply because it's easier. I have my studio set up here. I don't have to worry about Wi-Fi and any of that stuff. Like, it's just easier to do. I thought about it. Yeah, the DB class is special. I agree. Luke Haas signed. I can't tell you guys how big that was. Arkansas loses Jaden Ham, and Otis Kirk called this. He called this several months ago. He said that Ham, of all the guys that he thought would decommit, Ham would be the most likely. And I think that was because of local support there in Kansas. I think maybe Ham was waiting on Kansas to show that they have something this year, and they went 6-6, right? I mean, they were good enough. You know, people up there will tell you they should have won 8 games. You know, everyone does that. When you win 6, well, we should have won 7. Well, we should have won 8. Well, we should have won 9. KU seems to have gotten things turned around, at least to some degree. I think it's easier to do in a conference like the Big 12, but that's a good get for them, and I think it's a pretty big loss. Not a huge loss, but I think it's an important gain for them and a disappointing loss for the Razorbacks. Shamar Easter, those of you who are waiting on Shamar Easter, I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't know where he's at right now. He's going to wait until February. Anytime a player that I can remember, and you guys can help me out with this, those of you who are watching this live, those of you who are watching this after the fact, pretty sure since they started early signing period, which was in 2018, when they started doing this, any kid that didn't sign early, it's like a 40% shot that they actually sign with the Razorbacks. It might even be lower than that. Miles Rouser, if I remember right, was the only one last year that didn't sign early from the high school ranks. He had off-the-field issues. That's not the case here with Shamar Easter. He's being targeted by some schools. I'm going to tell you, Shamar is the one I really don't want to lose. I mean, Shamar, I like Luke Haas a lot too, and I'm glad they signed Luke Haas. That's a big one out of Bixby, Oklahoma. But Shamar Easter out of Ashdown, I really think they need to get this guy. I mean, you've got Trey Knox in the portal, right? I hate that. Like, Nathan Bax is a great blocker, or a pretty solid blocker most of the time. Not much of a receiving target. You know, his place in this offense, he feels like he belongs in one of those, like, Brett Bielema kind of offenses, right? He's just kind of slow-footed, doesn't have the speed and the acceleration off the line of scrimmage, not the greatest of hands. I say that, watch this cat go out and ball out in the Liberty Bowl, and he's capable. I've seen him make some plays in practice. I've seen him make plays in fall camp. He's capable. We just haven't really seen it. But Ty Washington is about all they have in that tight end room right now as far as guys with, I think, a pretty decent high ceiling. We're still kind of, you know, I don't know what to expect out of the tight end room outside of bringing in Luke Haas, who you feel really good about. They need to secure Shamar Easter. The odds are not high for Arkansas when these kids wait until February to sign. I don't think they're very good. Again, that's kind of going back in recent memory. I think year one, the first year they did this, I think they had like half and half, if I remember right. They had a few kids sign in December, which I think it was like December 15th, and it went on to like December 19th. They had like a week, and I think they had, because it was new, no one really knew what to expect. The other half then signed in February, if I remember right. But since that first year, I feel like, just in the back of my head, I don't think that the odds are very good when someone doesn't sign for Arkansas in the month of December. Micah Teese, who, that not signing. He decommitted from Arkansas. We know about that. Micah Teese kind of saw that one coming. Otis Kirk called him a flight risk early on as well, and he was right. Young man out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. You wish him the best. I think Arkansas, I do not like their shot at all at signing him. Davion Dozier, they got signed. Joey Sua out of Bentonville. What a good kid. I walked right by him on the sidelines, and he is just the most polite. He seems like just such a good kid. I wish I had more time to sit and talk with him. I think Richard Davenport I'm pretty sure he's done some interviews with him. I know Otis has. Luke Brown out of Paris, Tennessee has signed. Paris Patterson out of East St. Louis has signed. Let's get that list back up. Cover up this face. There you go. These are all the guys that have signed, right? Quincy Rhodes. Oh, man. I think it was Oklahoma that went on a big push. That was huge. This is huge. I can't tell you guys how big I think it is that they signed Quincy Rhodes, because there was a lot of smoke a couple of days leading up to this that he may not sign today. He did sign. His actual celebration, and again, I guess Luke Haas is going to do the same thing. It's going to happen here in 20 minutes. I think they're both like officially doing a ceremony at 1 o'clock, but that's huge. Quincy Rhodes, 4-star out of Little Rock. This is a guy I am big on. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the next, Dietrich Wise, Trey Flowers, Jake Beckett, but I really think Quincy, if he sticks it out, you know how I am. I always want to say something like remain coachable. Sometimes these kids get a little burned out, and it happens. It's more common than you guys realize. Sometimes you see it on the sidelines. Remain coachable. Keep a good head on your shoulders. Be smart about your decisions. Stick it out at Arkansas, hopefully. And I think the ceiling is really high for Quincy Rhodes. Stephen Johnson decommitted from Arkansas. He flipped to Auburn. Caleb James, another guy, I think, out of Mansfield, who was once upon a time, I believe, a 4-star in one of those sites. I think he still is a 4-star, actually, somewhere, ESPN or Rivals. But he signed Ian Jaffard. How the hell do you say that? Ian Jaffard. Good God, I can't say that last name. Ian, we're just going to call him Ian. He signed. Carson Dean signed. Alex Sanford. That's another guy I like a lot. I like Alex Sanford a lot. In my opinion, I think he's up there with the Jordan Crook kind of sign. I think he's up there with the Christopher Pupal if we're talking about the last 3 years. I mean, this is not a small player. And that's not the reason why I think he's great. I mean, just watch his film. Talk to anybody who's had eyeballs on him. Alex Sanford is a stud. Kind of surprised he's ranked as low as he is. But I think he's going to come in and be a red shirt freshman like Christopher Pupal and be an All-American? I don't know. Again, another cat. Give him some time. He's not someone, at least not right now, as far as I know. I don't think he's going to come in and blow the doors down and immediately be a starter or in the 2 deep. He could push the 2 deep. We got to remember, you've got some faces there. Again, Christopher Pupal, Jordan Crook, Woodard, who's worked his way into the depth chart. He's expected to play a little bit against KU. Manny Powell out of Fayetteville. There's some competition there, and you like that. You feel really good about the depth at linebacker. But Alex Sanford, it wouldn't shock me if that cat found his way into the 2 deep the way that Jordan Crook did year 1 as a true freshman. Wouldn't shock me. I'm pretty big on him out of Oxford, Mississippi. Brad Spence, what I do know about him, great teammate, had a Klein, Texas. I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about him. In fact, he's probably one of the ones I just haven't done enough research and asked around about. But I think there's some pretty high expectations for Brad. Probably one of those cats that you expect a couple years down the road to maybe start to make an impact. Dallas Young. Where's it at? Dallas Young. You guys see on the screen there. He's there. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. He signs. That's a good one. Of the DBs, I think the biggest get for Arkansas was TJ Metcalf. I think it was TJ Metcalf. I think he is the biggest get. Good God, grab the right screen. There's so many different screens there. There we go. I think he's the best get in the secondary. Trying to find his profile here. I wanted to pull. There's something that caught my eye, and there we go. Out of Pinson, Alabama, Pinson Valley High, 3-star, top 50 safety, had committable offers. Penn State was committable. Florida State, I don't know if it was committable or not, but I'm pretty sure it was. A lot of these schools really wanted this cat. He ended up with 24 total offers. He did sign. Dominic Bowman, responsible for him. I think this is a guy, again, he made the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, which down there in that part of the country, that's a big deal. That All-Star game is a big deal, the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. He made that roster. They've got him listed at about 6'1", 185 pounds. Wouldn't shock me. He's got the frame to add on a little bit of weight. Wouldn't shock me at all to see him by fall be somewhere around 195, 200 pounds. He's got a good-sized frame. I've heard he's actually closer to about 6'2". He's a big kid, and I know some people hear 6'1", and they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I kind of feel like he's going to be one of those guys down really quickly going to come in and have an impact on the roster. I really think highly of TJ Metcalf. I think that was a big sign for Arkansas. R.J. Johnson, going to wait. This young man out of Georgia, he's going to wait. And then they signed, of course, Luke Hawes' brother, Dylan Hawes. We already kind of talked about the transfer portal, but I can't tell you how big I am on Joshua Braun. This kid out of Florida was actually committed to Sam Pittman in high school, and then Sam took the job at Arkansas. And he ended up, of course, going to Florida and signing with the Florida Gators. That's a great land for Arkansas. They need some help. They need some veteran help. They need guys who've got at least a year or two under their belt, at least practicing and playing at this level, and that's what they got. When you're at all positions, we're going to sit here and talk about this as the portal grows for the Razorbacks, as they go out and they grab more prospects out of the portal. We're going to talk more and more about this, but it is important that you get these guys that have not only at least got a year at playing at the next level, or at least being a part of the activities of being on a roster at this level, but also cats who have played, who've competed, who, again, maybe more than a year under their belt. Maybe the guys are a little bit older, who've been around it, know and understand what this is all about. It's a business after all, right? I mean, you're seeing these kids hop in and out of the portal. They get it. They know it. They understand it, what it is. It's a business. But it's important, too, that they have played and been around and interacted with guys and with teams at this level. Talking about the SEC or any Power 5, right? You're going to grab some guys like Andrew Armstrong at Texas A&M Commerce, who maybe they didn't play at the big time levels, but they developed and they got, sometimes the Scottie Pippen thing happens. Scottie Pippen goes to UCA, and I've always heard the story, and I think he talked about this on the Chicago Bulls documentary where they talked about him getting really maturing in college and got better as a player. Sometimes that just happens, and we see that. We're seeing that more and more now. We're seeing these guys that play at Group of 5 schools or even smaller, and something happens, right? They hit that tier 3 of puberty, and they grow a couple more inches, right? They get stronger as they get older. They get more mature. Things just happen, right? And their athletic gift expands, and all of a sudden now they're putting up huge numbers at their Group of 5 school, and they see what's going on in the portal, and they get an opportunity to go play somewhere like at Florida, Georgia, Alabama, or you look at the middle of the SEC, Arkansas, Ole Miss. They get those opportunities, and that's what they got out of. I think what they're probably getting out of Andrew Armstrong, someone who kind of peaked when he was at somewhere like Texas A&M Commerce. And now he's going to get the opportunity to come compete on the roster for the Razorbacks next year in the receiver room. And we know that Arkansas needs that badly. Arkansas is going to need some wideouts. Look at this bowl game, man. Matt Landers, is going to play. They released the depth chart, and the receiver are going to see some freshmen. You're going to get to see Isaiah Centennial. You're going to get to see Samuel Baca. You're going to get to see some cats we haven't seen a lot this year. No doubt they're going to need some help in the receiver room. Katron Jackson is still a little bit of a surprise to me. I mean, I really thought year 3, this cat he's going to be a huge part of this offense. And for him to, but also you look at his numbers and you get it. So that's why they go out and they grab someone like Andrew Armstrong, who's also tall. He's got that same build, right, or a similar build. So Ty, do you think he will play true defensive end, or who are you talking about? Oh, Rhodes. I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll see. Ty, can you still get Otis and Dudley on for interviews now that you're leaving Hogville? Yeah, they'll come on. They'll come over here, I'm sure. I've already kind of talked to them about it. What's up, Ty? What's going on, Brian Frazier? Hope you're doing well, sir. Usually, this is Will. Usually I agree, but I think Easter just taking a visit to where his main recruiter went, not signing this week, is beneficial for Arkansas. I don't know, man. I don't know. Easter was a diehard, from what I understand, a very solid commit for Arkansas for quite some time. I don't know. It doesn't bode well historically, and it's a very short history when you're talking about these early signing periods on into February. Now that you have these two different signing periods, but in that recent history, it's not done. It's not been well for Arkansas when they don't sign in December. There's something else going on, right? They're either, they're going to want to take more trips and so on and so forth. But again, just historically, in the last 2-3 years, that's not been great for Arkansas. I don't know. Right now, I would probably lean on him not being a Razorback, but that could change tomorrow. Based on whatever you hear from, whether it's Otis Kirk or maybe someone else somewhere else, someone somewhere else. What I'm trying to say, what kind of scoop they get on Ash. There's some people on Twitter that have done a really good job of keeping up with all that, with all these players. If you can't get Otis or Dudley, you always got me. Oh, appreciate that, Haas. Thank you, sir. Thoughts on our new DC? Yeah, I talked about that earlier, Manny. I like the hire from the standpoint of a guy that should improve the roster. I don't know that you got that out of Barry Odom. Not from the high school ranks. The portal, he killed it. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. And so does his linebacker coach, right? Hopefully you can keep him. I don't know that I see that happening, but I see him. Has that been? Do we know? Anyone have the inside scoop on the linebacker coach? Is he just going to follow Odom out to UNLV? I kind of see that happening. I like this hire because I think he's going to. I believe he's going to appeal to a lot of the the young and the older crowd, the high school prospects, and the transfer portal prospects. Right. I'd say I'm just glad that we have the ones who signed on early signing day. Okay. Fair enough. Brian? I looked around. This is from Gerard. I'm just gonna say Gerard. Gerard Collins because it sounds cool. Again, I've asked you this multiple times. That's how you pronounce it, right? It is Gerard. I looked around our offensive line room, and we have a highly ranked offensive line room. We need to become dominant next year and moving forward. Yeah, well, you're year 4. Like, all the good old boy antics from Sam Pittman, all G-shuck stuff. Listen, that's who he is. I don't think that's a front. I think that's who he is. I really do. I mean, I've been in the same room with that guy as he's casually talking to people. I mean, he really is kind of that dude. He's also all about the business. I mean, he gets it. He's a pretty smart cat. But like, man, that was your reputation, right? And I get it. He's handed over those responsibilities off to the guy coaching the offensive line, but I don't know. I'm not seeing enough pride in the offensive line. I'm just not. Like this year, they got their asses pushed around the second half of the season. Liberty came in here and had 42 tackles for loss, for crying out loud. Okay, the real number was like 14, but whatever. It's still just as bad. It's horrible. That's horrible. They got pushed around by Liberty, and they weren't the only school to do that. But yet they can run the ball down the throats of some of the best teams in the SEC against some pretty stout run defenses, and Liberty kicks your ass up front? What the hell is going on? So, yeah, the all G-shuck stuff in the media, it's just not going to, when he talks to the media, it's not going to cut it anymore. Like, this is it, man. Year 4, we talked about this with Brett when Brett was here. I think that's about the time I started doing videos, actually, was Brett's 4th year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure that's right. Yeah, 2016. But something that I say we, just social media, Hog fans down at the corner, the barber shop or at the mall or at the Walmart, that's just not going to cut it with these fans anymore. They're done with that. They're done. Like, it's put up or shut up. Now, I'm not suggesting that if their offensive line play isn't very good, then he needs to be fired, but it kind of feels like a domino effect. If your offensive line isn't very good, you're going to lose a lot of games. You're gonna lose a lot of games in this league. You might be able to cut that in the Big 12 or the Pac or the ACC. It just doesn't work here in the SEC. Yeah, you got to have the bodies up front on the offensive line, and I think they do. I think you've got potential draft picks on that offensive line this year. There's no excuse for what we saw happen in the second half of the season. There's just no excuse. I know Dalton got banged up, and honestly, Dalton had a hell of a year. You talk about the progress that cat had at right tackle. Probably the most improved player on this roster, and we don't talk enough about it. Really awesome year for him. But he missed a game. Okay, I'm sure he played with some nagging injuries, but guess what? So does 99% of their college football teams. That just can't be an excuse. Well, one guy. Well, Ricky Stromberg was dealing with this. Luke Jones got his ass kicked from time to time, but the first half of the year he did really well. They put Tykees Crawford in at left and right tackle to help with the injuries. He gets his ass kicked. He's going to play interior, and I told someone not long ago I felt like that might be his natural position. I'm starting to think he might be a natural guard. And it looks like that's where they're going to put him in the bowl game. What's up, Ty? Hope you're having a good holiday. I appreciate that. Thank you. We got a lot of people in here. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Hit that like button. Super Chat's been rocking. We're killing it on Super Chat. You guys are awesome. So if you want to be in on that, if you want to join Patreon, hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Ty is solo. He can't rely on that Hogville check anymore. He's got sponsors and you guys. So, Bielema sucks. Oh, okay. Thought you did a good job this year. Scott, I don't know that I fully agree. I just don't think he worked out here. I think he did kind of let go of the rope. I don't know why. You could see it in recruiting, right? We saw it all the time. And then his comments about, passing on players because they were slightly rude or something. Like, come on, man. Like, Arkansas just can't afford to be too picky. The trenches matter, Paul. You're exactly right, man. You are exactly right. The trenches do matter. Size sometimes doesn't match up well with speed. We need to get big dudes with good, fast feet. Yeah, and you're not wrong, JD, but the problem with that is they're all going to Alabama. You have to out-recruit. You've got to out-recruit some pretty big programs with these guys that have good size, good strength, and good feet, good footwork, good speed. Of course, I'm having a sinus. Like, sinuses are just now like starting to fill up. Now it's hard to breathe. We're gonna talk any? I have not talked basketball, Aaron. I'm sorry. We're gonna talk any basketball at all today, Ty? I know the stream is for National Signing Day, but I'll never complain about extra conversations. Yeah, we can talk a little bit. I've done no notes. I've been so hyper focused on National Signing Day. I could barely tell you who they play today, to be honest. That's a joke. I'm aware of who they play. I've already made a thread on Discord. If you're not in our Discord, you need to go check it out. Go check it out. Go join our Discord. KB will take over when Sam Pittman is fired in 2024. Hot take. A lot of people seem to believe that that's the case, though, Mr. Carpenter. A lot of people seem to believe that could be the case, and that's why he's still here year 4. Now, I think there's still some possible coaching changes coming, and maybe Kendall Browse is a part of that. I mean, it's just now December 21st. Coaching changes happen all the time in the month of January. I don't know that we're completely out of the woods yet with that. And then the question is, the natural question, and we just had this with Barry Odom, and it was just recently answered. Who you gonna get? Right? Like that's the side of the aisle that's what they always say if someone gets fired, right? Well, you have the same question has to be asked if the guy leaves on his own accord, on his own will, if he takes another job. Who you gonna get? Who does Sam Pittman hire? Well, right now I think he's staying, and that's not really a hot take. Jay Carpenter. That's actually been a pretty common take, really. That's what I hear all the time is that Sam he's going to retire on his own. My dad, Arky56, who's not in here, he says that all the time. He says, Kendall's the next guy up. He's going to get hired on as the head coach. Which of the two new hires we met? Which has the shorter leash? Who has they all have short leashes, Steven. They all have short leashes. If you can't recruit and the product on the field is not good in your area, you're probably gone. David Lawrence, no more Hogville. Nope, starting January 1st. This is just my decision. I talked to the Hogville owner, the site owner, early last week about it. I'd been thinking about going back solo, going back to Tuss Talk full-time on my own, and really focusing on all the content here, and that happens January 1st. I'm going to go back solo. We ended on good terms. No reason to do otherwise, right? I mean, it was a great relationship, but it's a little overwhelming when you're trying to create, and let's be real. I'm free over here, and they'll acknowledge that. I can do more. I can branch out a little more. I can do a little bit more here than I can over there. Not that, they're kind of restrained in some ways, over here. This is my ship, and I take it wherever, and I have to 900,000 views with no highlight content. Yet, I have been giving some thought to making some highlight content. I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to just think, you know what? I want to hit 1 million views so bad. That is such a massive milestone for a channel like this. Again, I don't cover anything but the Razorbacks. It's not highlight material. It's just me talking into a microphone. Oh, man, with the community that's been created here, thanks to you guys and the hard work put into this thing, my mods on Discord, the mods here, like, I just want to push this thing to 1 million views any way that I can, just to hurry up and get there and get it over with. Pittman will boot your ass if you can't recruit. Yeah. Drink beer and cuss. So that might be some of it. I don't know. The goal is in 2023, and it was a goal in 2022, and unfortunately we couldn't meet it. In 2023, the goal is to turn this room adjacent to this room, which is our garage, turning that into a studio. That is the goal in 2023, where I can actually smoke my cigars, do what I want to do, make it a work / play room, but mostly work room. Yeah, that's the goal for 2023. And you guys, even just being here and being active, sharing the content, subscribing, liking, interacting, you guys help that be possible just by being here. Solo tie, I dig it. Thanks, David. I do too. Will you still have press passes and access to practice? No, probably not. No, probably not. And I already talked to Discord about this. I want to be real honest. As someone who had credentials, they didn't do me much good. Like I think it's really just pieces of flair. I think some people, especially a lot of other independent podcasts and YouTubers, they want it because it's like, hey, look at me. I only ever wanted it so I could have so I can have some access and see the things I've never seen before. And I was given that, and it was really fun. And there are some slight advantages to that, sure, of course, naturally. But, man, I don't need a pass. I got to 900-something thousand views without a press pass. You know, I've brought on sponsors. I've grown a Patreon. We've got, all sorts of different things happening here, and I did all that without a press pass. I don't think I need one. I'll be honest. I might reach out to the SID and talk to him about it. But don't need one. I don't know what this is. Something just popped up on my screen. What are you? Uh-oh. Are we about to shut down? I don't know what's going on. Oh, no. Oh, God. Wonder how many. Hopefully, if I do get kicked, thanks for being here. Like, share, subscribe. Wonder how many looked at where the Liberty players came from, transferred from in their recent history. They were stout, and their recruiting helped them. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, Ken, could be the case. Have you seen the narrative that KJ isn't good without Burks? It's like people don't watch the games. I thought that was pretty absurd. I have seen that. I was in a Twitter space earlier today. I don't know. I'm not going to say that I don't think he's a great quarterback. I'm not going to say that. I don't know that he's a great quarterback. I've not seen in the last 2 years that has me sold on that he's a great quarterback. To me, a great quarterback, you're talking about this cat's going to get drafted probably in the first 3 rounds, and is a massive difference maker when he's on the field. For Arkansas, he is a difference maker. I mean, he is. There's no doubt. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a more than capable quarterback. He's really good in this system. Is he a quarterback who you could throw him in any offense and him have success? The more I've watched, the more I think probably not. He fits this offense, the veer and shoot, really well. Just the type of player he is. He's not afraid of contact. He's got a good arm. He's got a good his downfield accuracy on those deep throws is really nice. He does a lot of really good things for this offense. He is this offense, him and Rocket Sanders, and you saw the gap between him and any other quarterback that's played in this system going back to last year. There's a massive gap. Arkansas is not the same without KJ. Now, on the flip side of that, do I think he could operate Tennessee's offense as well as Hendon Hooker? I don't know. Probably not. Not as well, but I think he could still find a lot of success in that offense. Could he go to the NFL and, I don't know, name any offense, West Coast, whatever, and could he succeed in the NFL? No, I don't think so. Not. It's got to be an offense that's kind of tailor-made to what he does and his skill set, and that's not a bad thing. But I don't believe he's a bad player. I don't believe he's not a good quarterback. I don't believe that at all. I think he's a more than capable quarterback who operates this offense really well. I mean, you have to count on just one hand the amount of interceptions each year he's been the starting quarterback here, and that's pretty fantastic. Maybe next year we'll see that growth. Maybe this offseason we'll see him take that next big step. But you got to have the pieces around him to make that happen. right? And I don't know that he's necessarily had that. I mean, yeah, he had that in Traylon Burks, but in the backfield behind him, like Traylon Smith was a capable running back. Rocket Sanders kind of emerged. We got to see a little bit of A.J. Green, but they weren't they did finish top 15 in rushing offense in 2021 as well, but it still felt like he was such a massive part of that. He was the leading rusher. This last year, 2022, he actually had a little bit of help in the backfield. His offensive line the first half of the season was spectacular. I mean, Pro Football Focus graded them out really high in both pass and run block in their grading system. So he had the help up front. I think a big part of it is his health, the way he plays the game of football. Has that had an impact on him? I think it has. He doesn't slide. He doesn't really aim to always go out of bounds like a lot of these dual threat quarterbacks like to do. He's going to take on the contact, or he's going to try and run around people. And the way this offense is designed too, it is short burst runs out of the RPO going 7 or 8 yards in one direction. So you're going to take on more contact. They're not always east-west where he's running way out in the flats trying to make a play, right? It's a lot of, in between the tackles kind of run. So he can't really do much to avoid that kind of contact. But I do think he needs the pieces around him. How much of it is on Kendall? I mean, that's something else we don't talk enough about. Like, we didn't see a big jump from KJ, year 1 starter to KJ year 2 starter. We didn't see a huge jump. But he had Traylon Burks in 2021. He didn't have a first-round wide receiver, but he did have Jaden Hazelwood. He did have Matt Landers. Tight end play, I think, was kind of all over the place. I really thought Trey Knox was going to be a guy that would have a bigger impact, and he didn't. I was wrong. I really thought he was going to be in the 35-plus. He did in the end zone. In fact, he dropped a couple in the end zone. Should have had 2 more touchdowns, but Trey Knox didn't have the impact that I thought he was going to have this year. When we had Burks, we also had a solid defense. Well, for part of the year. Another year where KJ will have a whole new wide receiver. Yeah, that's also true. That's also very accurate. Yeah, absolutely. Third year, and his receiver room is going to look a lot different, just like it did this last year. I mean, that's something to think about. Like, he's not had – and that's also going to be commonplace and kind of has been commonplace at some other schools where they get a lot of turnover rate at the wide receiver position, only for different reasons. Why? Right? Because these guys are getting drafted at a young age. They're getting drafted as second or third year player. Well, I'd say second. You can't get drafted as a second year player, but as a third year player, they're getting drafted, and they're seeing a lot of turnover. There's certain, you think of the Ohio State, you think of Alabama. All these big schools, they have that turnover, and if the quarterback sticks it out for 3 years, the receiver room is always there's always some turnaround, and the good quarterbacks find a way to respond to that. I thought that he responded pretty well. I definitely don't look at 2022 for KJ and go, oh, well, that was such a disappointing year for him. I don't think that at all. I think it was a solid year for KJ. It is something he can add to his resume, but he needs to grow. We need to see pretty big growth from him. Especially with what you're going to have to replace on the offense. Right now, as it stands, it doesn't look like any running back is going to transfer. So far, that could change. I'm still kind of waiting to see what happens with A.J. Green. Who knows? DeBinion might realize, what? I should actually be a starter somewhere. I think he's that good. And, he might think the same thing. Who knows? Hopefully not. But the important thing is you get Rocket back, but your offensive line is going to look different. Your receivers are going to look different. Hell, your tight end. Who knows what the tight end position looks like next year? Burks was balling out for the Titans before that concussion. Well, he was there for a couple of weeks. Yeah, he was. He had a couple double-digit fantasy football weeks on the what do you call it? PPR league, pass per receptions league. Arkansas run the quarterback too much. I think you're right, Big L. I think there's a very heavy reliance on KJ running the football a lot. 16, what was it? The first 7 games of the year, he was averaging like 15 rushes a game. It'd be one thing if he was sliding, if he was running out of bounds. And look, you can hurt yourself sliding too, by the way. You can. We've seen it happen. It's rare, but it has happened. But You see those no contact injuries, and sometimes they're the worst. But he's not that type of player, and that's a lot of hits. That's a lot of contact. Look at Neighbor's tweet where he compares KJ stats with and without Burks, almost identical. Yeah, $5 super chat from Brian Ty. That just means him and the receivers need to be joined at the hip to the point that way they know what each other's thinking. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, it's important that they're all on the same page. I agree, Brian. I agree. They need to all be on the same page. Yeah, you beat my ass, Ash. You beat my ass. You pushed me because of my loss. I'm now in the losers league. Or in the losers playoff bracket. I messed that playoff bracket up. It was supposed to be the top 6 teams. It ended up being the top 4. I guess I didn't hit the save button or something. That was not supposed to be the final 4 teams. Yeah, I messed that one up. Hey, so look at the super chat today. You guys are just slaying it. I love it. Burks won me a couple of games in the fantasy. Yeah, he had a couple of big weeks. I think he's expected to play this week. Really quick, someone asked about basketball, and they've probably already moved on. But this is actually a pretty – now, I know who they're playing. I don't know a ton about who they're playing. I just did no research on this team at all. Like, I'm not even going to lie about it. Didn't do any research because I've been so focused, hyper-focused on signing day. We had the defensive coach hire. I had this thing going on with the Odd Soul and getting that set up and doing the Black Apple interview with the co-founder. I haven't had time to focus on basketball. I also don't do basketball for Hogville, or I really haven't been. That's been someone else. That also changes, by the way. January 4th will be the first. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Will be the first basketball post-game show on Tuss Talk, baby. January 4th. Make sure you mark that on your calendars. Tyler's doing a post-game show on January 4th following the Mizzou game at 7:30 p.m. That's a Wednesday. I know that's late for a Wednesday. I don't know why they do 7:30 tip-offs on weeknights. That's so stupid. Should be at the latest 6:30, but whatever. I'm here and I'm going to do the post-game, and I'm really excited about that. January 7th, we're trying to get something set up at the Odd Soul, doing a post-game, a live reaction at the Odd Soul post-game show. So that's kind of up in the air right now. But, Arkansas taking on UNC Asheville. Asheville, I think, what are they, 8-4? We don't know what's going on with Nick Smith. I know that there's all kinds of talk about Nick, and I really don't know much beyond he's not playing tonight is what I've been told and what I've heard. But again, UNC, Asheville, they're 3-3 on the road. They're 8-4 overall. Going to the number 10 ranked Razorbacks back home at Bud Walton Arena. Thank God. Arkansas's favorite at 22.5 points. According to the Basketball Power Index, they're favored at 95%. I really don't know what that roster is going to look like tonight. I don't know what that lineup's going to look like, but I'm kind of starting to think that Walsh might have found a new role. We know that more than likely Devo will probably be a starter tonight. Have they listed? I don't know if we have any latest on that. My guess is Devo will be in the rotation, or will be a starter. Of course, he's in the rotation. He'll be a starter tonight. The Discord question is, who ends up with the most offensive rebounds? We had someone, I'm not going to say who it is. Someone has Anthony Black with 11. I know that's a troll job. That's a good one. Anthony Black. Now, he's a good rebounder. I don't know about 11 offensive rebounds. That was what I put, right? Was that what the question was? It was offensive rebounds, yeah? Yeah, offensive rebound leader with amount. And this individual has Black with 11. Austin has Council with 2. Makai Mitchell says Judd, yo boy Judd, with 5. Blavo says Makai with 6. A lot of Makai picks. He was my original pick, but I got shamed because I was thinking Makai in my head, and I put Eminem. I was trying to be, whatever. Maybe a little funny. Eminem, right? And he's got a brother who also his initials are imminent. So, anyways, I changed my pick to Kamani with 3. Rob R says Council with 10 offensive rebounds. I don't know that Rob R looked at the. You got to make sure you read the description at the top on those forums. That's good stuff, though. All right, we got all this. Did we cover all the super chats? Sorry, my sinuses. Oh my gosh. I need to blow my nose. Holy crap. It just hits me. Walsh really stepping up as well. Yeah, he is, Ash. He's been a big part. I'm expecting him to go off again tonight. Him and Council. Smith was limping badly in the NLR Hog game. Yeah, we don't have anything on that right now. Don't know. We don't know. I'm not laughing at that situation. I'm laughing at Haas in chat, by the way. Haas was the guy. Haas was the guy who put 11 offensive rebounds. From what I understand, what had been hinted was that Nick might just miss a few games. I think there might have been a slight overreaction. But it is also out there that he could listen. I don't like talking about rumors that are right now I believe to be unfounded right now. It could be wrong. I don't know that he has signed. I thought I saw someone say he took a plane to St. Louis and signed somewhere. No, I don't think that's happened. But is it possible? Is it on the table that he may miss an extended period of time? I think it probably is. But I don't know. We don't know what we don't know. I really take everything you've heard about Nick Smith, as far as I'm concerned, with a grain of salt. We'll just have to wait. Maybe Eric Musselman will fill us in on what else is going on. Maybe not. I think eventually they're not going to have any other choice but to tell the public what's going on there. Razorback basketball or Razorback Twitter was having a meltdown on Monday. Yes, they were. I'm hoping that was all just an overreaction. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know if it was or not. I mean, listen, there are plenty of people out there who have a lot better inside sources than I do when it comes to Razorback basketball. I'll tell you that right now. And listen, if they say it and they have a pretty decent track record, then maybe maybe there is some weight to it. I don't know. Can't wait for Ty's post games for basketball. Kevin is not terrible for Hogville, but he isn't nearly the live talent that Ty. Well, I appreciate those kind words, Steven. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I'm sorry. I'm like I keep every time you just feel it kind of hit you, the sinuses. All right, that is going to do it. I will. I need to go blow my nose. I'll be back. We'll be live. We're going to, Sam is going to talk with the media today at 3:00. He's going to talk about the signing day. And I'm sure I'll have plenty of reactions to that. We'll discuss on, what is today? Today's Wednesday. Again, I'm not doing post-game basketball tonight. That'll be back. We'll be back this week on Friday, on the 23rd. And then that'll probably be it until... Well, I don't know. Stay tuned. I'll try to fill you guys in on the 23rd as to what the future looks like as far as the week of Christmas. Obviously, it's a holiday. Things are going to be a little different. But, yeah, really glad to be back solo. Happy to have Odd Soul. You see him down there on the bottom right. Really happy to have Odd Soul on as new sponsors. Shout out to them, the Apex Tattoo Studio, the Garage Direct Service, the Garage Door Repair Company, and, of course, all you fine Patreon supporters. If you want to join, again, it would be huge if you guys wanted to join. It'd be nice. Be great, right? Support independent content creators, especially the local ones. But I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing no matter what. And I'm really, really looking forward to the month of January. I'm really looking forward to 2023. I think it's going to be fun. So, yeah. All right. I think we covered everything, right? Is that it? I think so. Like, share, subscribe on your way out. Check out all the links provided for you down below. And, of course, check out our Discord. All those links are provided for you down below. All right? Look at all these. Look at this. All you guys. You guys are awesome. The Patreon support has been real. To all the $8 plus supporters, I appreciate you guys a lot. All right, I'll see you guys on Friday. Woo pig.